Hi, and welcome to Leadership and Capacity Building for Effective Co-Teaching. This is Wendy Murawski, and I'm going to be talking to you guys a little bit about what it looks like to support co-teaching from an administrative perspective. I can see that we've had some people just join us, and I'm sure that others will join us as we continue. I think the best way for us to do this is for me just to jump in, give some guidance, some suggestions, some tips on co-teaching from an administrative perspective. But for those of you as we go along, if you want to type into the chat area and let me know your questions anytime you want to do that, that would be fine. I may not answer them right at that moment depending on where we're going in this conversation, but I will certainly have some time at the end to respond to some of those questions. If I see a question that relates to something I know I'm going to talk about soon, then I'll just make sure that I infuse that into the conversation. So please feel free to write in your questions as we go along. I am a professor at California State University, Northridge, where I'm the endowed chair for the Center for Teaching and Learning, and I also do a lot of work in my educational consulting company, which is called To Teach, LLC. And I'm very excited to be working with the state of Indiana this year and for the next few years as we roll out an initiative on co-teaching practices. All right, and let me go ahead and give a framework for what we're going to be doing today. This actually comes off an article that I wrote in Educational Leadership in 2008, and I found that it's a really nice framework for talking about the keys for administrators in supporting co-teaching. We're going to make sure that this article is available to you so that if you want to get a copy of this or some other articles that I have on co-teaching, you'll be able to do so either for yourselves or for some of the teachers or others you work with in your district or school. So these 5 keys, as you can see, number 1 is know what co-teaching is and when it is needed. I'll talk a little bit about why just having that definition is so critical in terms of leading a school district. Recognize that co-teaching is a marriage and that you as the administrator are the matchmaker. Personalities are really important in terms of co-teaching. Number 3, I'm sure that none of you have this problem, but scheduling is actually a huge problem in many schools. And number 4, planning is critical. We're not seeing changes in teacher actions unless they actually are able to plan together. And finally, number 5, monitor success, give feedback, and ensure that this is evidence-based practice. For each of these 5 keys, what I'm going to do is tell you a little bit about some steps or strategies that you can use within that particular topic. Again, this is a really short 1-hour webinar, so there's a lot more depth that we can go to in the future, and that is something that I know that working with the Service Center we want to start rolling out to the state of Indiana is more strategies in all of these different areas so that those of you who feel like you've got the planning piece down pat but you need help on the scheduling piece, we can offer you some support in that area. Or if you feel like